Welcome to Huddle for Success, real talk, real goals, and real results, where they help you make it happen in your life and business. Your hosts are Mark Bruce and Dwayne Gibbs, and they're here to help you level up your mindset, growth, and your success. Whether you're after personal growth or financial growth, they have you covered. Now let's huddle up.
Welcome to Huddle for Success. I'm your host, Dwayne Gibbs, alongside my partner, as always, Mark Bruce, the Hall of Famer, where we come to you every Monday with a new episode on our podcast. Also, join us every Wednesday and Friday, where we do a quick huddle up, a quick mindful thought of the day. With that being said, let's huddle up. Today, we have a special guest, longtime friend, Gary Augustinsen. Good morning, Gary. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning, Gary. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Been looking forward to this one for quite a while.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So it's good having you on. I talk about you all the time to Mark and say, listen, just a great friend. I've known close to 30 years. I would say that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Lived next door to my mom and dad in Southwest Florida. Been on plenty of trips together, have anything imaginable we pretty much have done together, and it was like peas and carrots, everybody would say. So you have an interesting story, and I just think it's really good that we can share with our audience. Your work ethic is second to none. Your vision on business itself as an entrepreneur. You've come up through hard knocks and you've done things that you really didn't want to do, and you made it work. And I think we all at some point in our life realize I don't really want to do it, but I have to do it, and you made it through. And so we're just going to go back and talk a little bit about growing up and what your thought process was, and we're just going to talk and pepper you with questions, and I'm sure nothing will trick you. You'll know all the answers. And that being said, let's get started.
So the first question I've got to ask, and I'll get you to tell your story about your background first, but Dwayne keeps telling me and everybody else that he gave you the Playbook for Life book, and you read it, and then you went out and joined the gym.
Yeah.
Did you really do that?
I do. Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
Why did reading the book make you join the gym?
I don't know. I got excited. I got inspired by it, and I said, it's there's more to the story, but bottom line is, I don't know. I just got inspired and got excited that I get off my butt and go do something extra.
I will tell you that made Dwayne and I both feel great that the book had that kind of impact.
It's a great book.
That was surprising and humbling.
Yeah.
So
that was good.
Dwayne told me a little bit about your background. You've been in the military. Thank you so much for your service.
Absolutely.
And you've done a lot of things. Why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about your life journey and what you've done and what you're doing?
I went in the Air Force when I was 17, ended up in the fire department, crash rescue, stayed in for 4.5 years, met my wife in South Korea. We got married in the U.S. Embassy in Seoul, and I lost her last year, but 40 years of marriage. And that's another reason for the book. I was just laying around the house, not in the greatest of moods, and that book kind of lifted me up a little bit. So, but yeah, I got out. I started building some houses up in Connecticut for a builder, and just, I was 21 years old. So, and then started doing some catering. I had a catering truck up there for a couple years, and it just got so cold up there. Me and Sonny decided to come to Florida and look around, and we came down here on vacation and made a decision that we weren't going to wait to retire to move here. We're going to come now. And so we did. We sold everything up there, found Cape Coral, loved it, been here ever since.
Nice.
And started working here and meeting people. And, in any business, you have to have connections. You have to know people. And that takes time. And people don't realize how long it takes to make those connections and keep them, and how much it'll help you in the long run. But yeah, met a lot of good people, still a lot of good friends here. Worked for a truck service trailer shop for a while, learned how to drive a truck. I got my Class A. Just at one point I decided I really didn't want to work for anybody anymore. I went to work for this portable sanitation company, and we went from 1,500 units out. When I started, I was a general manager, and when I left is of course when the boom dropped out in 2007. We were up to 10,000 rented.
Wow.
So yeah,
Crazy.
and I said, that's it. I'm not going to work for anybody else. I'm going to start doing it for myself. And while we had the portable sanitation company, we had started a water treatment company. Whole nother story. But anyhow, I ended up taking over that. And then I in 2008, and then 2010, I bought it.
Nice.
And we did good. Still have it, still working. I got work to do today, and just it's not a $1 billion business, but it's a consistent business. My theory is, if I get a lot, you don't know how many customers I get because I answer the phone. It's a big deal.
Yep.
And
Let's talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead, Dwayne.
So let's slow it down a little bit, and let's talk about your thought of going into the military. So talk about your dad, your brothers. I mean, what was that thought process of wanting to go into the military?
Well, my dad was Air Force. He was, did his time in the Air Force. I was only 17, and I recognized at that time that it wasn't going to be good if I didn't do something different.
And that was in Norway. You grew up in Norway.
No, I grew up in
Windsor,
Connecticut.
Yeah, in Connecticut. But you're everybody in your family going
Everybody's
back
from
to
Norway.
everybody's from Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm the oldest, and so it just I could see the writing on the wall. I don't know if something clicked, and I just went and signed up. And my dad had to sign for me. I was only 17, and loved it. Sometimes I wish I stayed in, but then I don't.
Hindsight, right? Hindsight's 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when you got out and then you were in the military, and then talk a little bit about, were you looking for a 9 to 5, or was that just not in you? Did you feel like, hey, I wanted to be an entrepreneur? Were you an avid reader? What was the thought process?
No, I wasn't an avid reader. I just like to go to work and come up with new ideas. I always had a side gig, even when I worked for somebody. I always did something on the side for myself. And just over the years, I'd buy old boats, fix them, sell them, build stuff on, side jobs. I did welding for people for years on the side. And just at some, after the crash, and because I did pretty well with Suncoast, if you remember. And once that was over, then it was time to go on my own and just do it all by myself. And that's what we did.
A lot of people don't realize that one of the best ways to become an entrepreneur is to start with a side gig. Keep your day job, and learn business on the side.
Learn, because there's some there's some hard lessons.
Yeah. I used to always tell people you bought yourself some experience. And so, all the years of being in the training business, people would say, oh, am I going to have to quit my job? And it's like, no. And I totally agree with you. Do something on the side to where you can get some education. And you talked about not an avid reader, but now I think you learn the importance of reading, constant mind feed. You do it all the time. I mean, and Mark and I talk about, it's so important to read. It's so important to feed your mind, whether it's podcast or whatever. Feed the brain.
Yeah. Yep.
And so from that, when you had let's talk about your catering business. So when you had your catering business, what was, you guys did really well. You and Sonny
did really well. And that was working for myself. I leased a truck from a caterer, and it got to the point where, you know, I like to cook, so I always had my stuff on the truck too. And it got to the point where my wife had to quit her job. She was cooking in a nursing home and come help me because I couldn't handle it by myself. I mean, we were doing huge numbers. And we did that for a couple of years. And then that's when we moved here. And I came down here to do it here. And it just wasn't, I got a truck as soon as I came down here up in Bradenton for a while. And then I leased one down here in Fort Myers. But you couldn't make any money really, just because you know how it was here back in the early 90s. Nobody made any money.
That's right.
You know, people
Not
were
an
making,
industry.
yeah, there was really nothing. And the product all cost the same. So you had to charge the same here, you know, like up in Connecticut, people, there was all union up there. Everybody's making $18, $20 an hour. They could afford to spend $15 on lunch. Not so much here. So
back then, Florida was a lot of trailer, a lot of mobile home parks with
Yep.
with retirees paying $100 a month rent, and
that's right.
Yeah.
And so it didn't work out too well here. So that's when I ended up going to work for Sid at his shop and learned a lot from him. Just he was a property owner, investor, real estate. He was just a smart guy, always working. And I kind of latched onto him for a long, long time. We just lost him last week, as a matter of fact. 86 years old, so he had a full life, but he was very successful, taught me a lot, really took me under his wing, helped me out a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you know, you had the sanitation, but John had the sanitation business. You were with him for a while, and then it became he helped educate you on the business and what needed to be done, and you had an office and you had people that worked for you, and you guys had an oiled machine just really going at it. The boom of Southwest Florida, as you said, 10,000 toilets and still looking.
Yeah, we had 105 employees.
Yeah, so you really grew that business, and I was always admired by that because, you know, you and John had a vision, and it just grew and grew and grew. And I think I did some sales training for some of your guys before coming to the office. But you know, when it was time for you John, to kind of leave, and you stepped up and said, "Hey, I want to buy the business along with." Mainly the water business.
Right.
And so you saw an opportunity. And so talk about that, did you hear a lot of negativity of people saying, don't buy, continue, go do something else? What was the mindset?
No, all the people I know were very encouraging. Really, most of my friends, you included, nobody really has been negative. Everybody's always positive. Yeah, go for it. Even Sid, when I worked for him for years, and I had the opportunity to go to work for John at the sanitation company, he was all for it. He was losing me, but he was more concerned with my well-being than his. And I always respected that.
And Sonny, it was all about Sonny. So really it wasn't much about Gary. It was more about Sonny. Anybody that knew Sonny got,
I told somebody the story yesterday. The storage trailers. We had repoed a trailer from a customer who sold T-shirts and hats and stuff like that. And it was a 40-foot semi-trailer full of baseball caps. They were all blanks.
Wow. And
Sid's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. And him and Sonny got together and decided she was going to take them to the flea market and sell them in a booth, you know what I mean, for a couple bucks a piece. And he says, you do that. He says, you keep half of the money, give me the other half, and it'll be good. So 2 weekends go by. She sold, I don't know how many thousands of hats, but she wholesaled them out. She wholesaled them to the other vendors in the flea market. Came back 2 weeks later with a pocket full of money.
That's her. That's her.
Sonny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Sonny. That's Sonny. Everybody that met her loved her, and she was instant friend. If she liked you, she liked you. If she didn't, you knew it. So
you knew it.
You definitely knew it. So really good. And then with your water business now, I mean, it's up and down. Everybody's getting older in life, and kind of what's your mindset on that, and why transition over into real estate? And let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I don't see myself really ever wanting to retire fully. So this is a good opportunity right now that the market's slow. And even the water business has been slow all summer, which is typical for the summer. This year has been real slow. And it's going to start picking up. I'm already getting calls from snowbirds are coming back. And
but you've created a name for yourself and for the business.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing this for, since 2008. So, and like I said, I answer the phone. Nobody else does.
That's right.
And a lot of people send it to their voicemail. And if I don't have to send it to voicemail, I don't. I'll answer. I'll stop working on a job to answer the phone. And I just think that's important for everybody to realize that you will get more business answering the phone, because people won't leave a message half the time. They'll just call somebody else, And if you're honest with people and build a good rapport with them, most of my customers don't even ask me how much anymore. They just say, do it. If you're fair. And that's how I've built my customer base. Being fair, doing the right job,
So let's talk a little bit about the real estate. I mean, you could have gone out and got a job, but again, we're talking about you being an entrepreneur and wanting to do something for yourself. What's that vision for you for this whole real estate business? Who's your target market? I know you and I talked about firefighters and people from Norway that come visit in Southwest Florida, along with people that are in the military. You're in with some builders, I know, and you're constantly trying to evolve.
I'm going to try and focus a lot on new construction, but anything at this point. Veterans is a good focus point. I really haven't picked that niche yet, because I'm still in the learning stages. There's a lot to learn. I never realized there was this much involved, which is fine with me. I don't mind as long as you learn it, because you can get in big trouble if you don't do it right. And I just think it's interesting. And there again, I've been hands-on labor my whole life, and it's just time to kind of move away from that and just work more with my laptop and my brain, if you know what I'm saying.
Totally. We get it. We totally get it. Mark, do you have anything?
Well, I was just to say, when you said that, you're learning something new, I flashed back to when I met Dwayne the first time, and he taught me the note business. And at first it seemed really simple. You buy a note, you sell a note, and, you do the math.
Yeah.
But then there's the language and all the paperwork.
Nothing's simple.
No. And it was kind of like drinking out of a fire hose, trying to learn it all as fast as you can.
And if they throw so much at you in this industry anyways, at first, that it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And so you just, once you get through the school and you get licensed, and then you just start picking courses, and you just start trying to retain everything, and doing it through experience too. I've only sold one house, so I've got some, but not much experience, but we just got started. So
you sold the hardest one.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I've got the commission check hanging up on the wall.
First one is always the hardest.
Yeah.
So why would somebody want to work with Gary, why would they want you to be their real estate agent?
Well, I'm very diligent. I'm on time. I am going to find the best deal for you, for my client. And I work it right through to the end. A lot of these guys, they don't answer. Like, again, it goes back to answering the phone. A lot of these people don't answer you. I call realtors sometimes. You don't get a call back for days. I mean, and, the good thing about me is I'm new, and I have people who are helping me that have been in the industry for years. So there's always an answer. I'll never say I don't know. I'll say I'll get back to you, and I do get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me, Dwayne, of we had a topic where we talked about Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. Said you don't get wealthy doing certain things.
Right.
You get wealthy doing things in a certain way.
Right.
From everything Dwayne tells me and everything I've heard today, you definitely do things in the right certain way. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just believe that's the way it should be done, you know?
So let's talk about the younger Gary. I mean, you have Playbook for Life in your hand, and what would you tell a younger Gary of receiving that book?
Oh, go into business for myself sooner. You know, that's simple. You know, take the plunge. I should have taken the plunge long time ago, but I didn't. So here we are. You know,
What do you think? What do you think changed in your mindset from when you didn't to when you did?
I had no choice when I did.
Oh, okay.
It's simple.
So you basically burned the boat, you burned the ship, and you had to do
Well,
it.
well, it was 2007. There was nothing. Somebody turned the switch off. The guy, the portable sanitation company, the guy I worked for, John, had just sold it a year before. I'm sorry. There's my IT guy calling me back. For $15 million, portable toilet company.
Wow.
Yeah. And it wasn't 8 months later. That's when they turned that switch off. All the housing stopped, all the buildings stopped, units started coming back, and there was nothing going on here at all. There was no work whatsoever. And I just said, well, this is the perfect opportunity with the water company, and just jumped in, you know, fired everybody and just did it myself. I had 2 guys working for me after I got rid of everybody. I mean, they had people in there that didn't need to be there. They had office cleaning people coming in. We didn't need any of that. You know, there's and people who don't have an interest in it do that. You know, he had people running it who had no idea. You know, they would just run the credit card up. It wasn't theirs to pay back. And I mean, it was a little, Dwayne will tell you, it was a small company, and they had people coming to clean the office, pick up a vacuum and vacuum the office, and paying these people a couple $100 a month. You know, and just things like that. So we got rid of everybody, and I kept a couple guys, and we made it work.
Yeah.
Well, I just sold the salt route last year. You know, right after Sonny passed, I sold the salt route. We had a pretty sizable route.
Yeah. Mark, you have anything else?
No, I mean, again, I am so glad that you were able to come on with us. You've got a great story.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, people could learn so much from the way you've done things in your life. I mean, you've done it purposefully. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I have
this.
no regrets. I'm not a multimillionaire, but I sleep at night, and I see a lot of people, especially in this industry, the water industry, who make a lot of money, but they steal. They rip people. I can't do that. You know, there's just. I'd rather just make a fair profit and have you call me back next time.
Well, when Gene and I are ready to move to South Florida, we'll give you a call for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find you a house and a water treatment system.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you being on. You know, appreciate your friendship, and you know, just you've inspired me over the years. When Mark and I wrote the book, it was about everybody that's been in our life that contributed, and so we didn't point people out individually, but people that had all made a difference and an impact in our life. That was kind of a tribute to them on the first page, of thanking them from what we've taken from our relationship, whether it was personal or business, and just being able to get something from everybody. So you're part of that. I appreciate it. Appreciate our friendship. And with that being said, we appreciate you, the listener, tuning in and watching each and every episode that we do on Monday, Huddle for Success. And like I mentioned earlier, join us every Wednesday and Friday where we do a quick huddle up session, a mindful 3 to 5 minute thought of the day. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, comment on this page, and stay huddled up.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Huddle for Success. If you found it helpful and want to support others on their journey, share this podcast, leave us a rating, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you next week on Huddle for Success. Stay huddled up.